Tammy Caouette is a Canadian military wife living in Sicily who is having debilitating pain, and now she's using intermittent fasting successfully to lose weight.
Well, Tammy, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed. Why don't you give everybody a little introduction? Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, well, my name is Tammy Caouette, as I explained earlier. The easiest way to remember that is Omer Fudd saying carrot. But anyways, I digress. I am a military wife, mother of two. Been at this for 14 years, homeschooler, and a Cub Scout leader with the American Boy Scouts, even though I am Canadian. There's a twist to that. Currently living in Sicily for the past 3 years and living the dream. I can't complain. And 6 o'clock here. I know it's your morning, Kayla. So I'm into the wine. You should have put Bailey's in your coffee, like I told you in our messages.
Right. I totally forgot.
Without you. It's okay. We're here in spirit. For you, I drink.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how are you finding success with weight loss right now? Like, how much have you lost? How long did it take? What are you doing?
Oh, gosh. This has been a life thing. So my best success, I think because of consistency, has been these past 2 years that I've been here. I've lost just over 40 pounds in the past 2 years. So that honestly has been my best success, because ever since I've tried losing weight, it's been a roller coaster of gains and losses, and nothing ever stuck. So I'm proud of myself at this point for this actually being something that's sticking.
Mm-hmm. And so right now, are you doing intermittent fasting? Like what is your daily routine?
Okay. Well, yeah, it has been intermittent fasting. The past years was like kind of juggling intermittent fasting and detoxing, because I knew in how my body was sitting, I desperately needed to get a lot of stuff out of me. So my biggest help in all of that was actually doing just a ton of research online. A lot of I ran into Dr. Berg videos, which were super helpful, and I guess he's really launched into the whole intermittent fasting and keto thing. And I ran across Dr. Jason Fung, which I was like, yay, another Canadian. Hey, props to Canadians, man. Saving the world, one human at a time. Anyway, I daily now intermingling everything I've been learning. My day kind of just, I'm not 100% anchored on OMAD. I am really, really, really working on getting there. My week kind of looks like OMAD, 2MAD, snacking, I'm going mad, and then back to OMAD again, just to try and catch up, because my weight's like this throughout the week. It's horrible, so horrible. But daily, I'm up at 7. I hit the bathroom, do the weight scale thing, because that, even without you saying you do it, I think I've done that since I was 12 years old. Like, just been my thing. I know a lot of people that are, oh no, you should do it once a week, or you should do it, they always kind of poo-poo the person that does it daily. And I'm thinking, if I don't, I'll be a disaster. Because I've tried that. I've tried the breaks. They don't work. They don't work. All of a sudden you feel like I'm invincible. This week I'm going to be magic, because apparently when you jump back on it a week later, it's magic. No, it's not. You go up. You always go up.
Right.
I don't know who I'm fooling, really, to be honest.
Right.
It's a bad mess. But anyway, so after that, head downstairs, have an espresso.
Do you take any cream in it or anything, or?
Well, the espresso was a hard thing to get into, especially when you're coming from good coffee, right? And you have a mug, and then you go to a shot glass. Well, I tried putting the sugar in it, but like seriously, the ratio of espresso to sugar pack, it's like half of it. It's so gross. You gag on that. So cappuccinos was my deal for a long time when we started here. But even then, a cappuccino is kind of small. They're not very big. A proper one, I guess. But eventually we ended up buying an espresso machine that had cappuccino functions, and I would do it at home. And then slowly human nature, take the easiest route. I'm like, I don't want to spend time doing my milk espresso. So I just started getting used to that. And you put a little bit of milk in it. They call it a macchiato instead, whatever, make it a little taller, longer. And now I just kind of do a straight up espresso, nothing in it. But that took a while. 3 years, that took a while.
Right. Yeah.
Flip side, in terms of coffee, Italy has ruined me because now it's the only thing I have time for. I don't like to waste time on a mug of coffee anymore.
Right.
I take my shot and get going with my day.
I always think of Italy as being very laid back, but I guess you got a lot of going.
That's a whole other ball of wax. We won't go there today. No.
So, has weight always been a challenge? You said that you were weighing every day, like since you're about 12. So, has that always been a challenge for you?
Yeah, it has. About 8, 9 years old, we just, I think that's when the weight started really packing on. And we were having our own like internal family struggles. And I think for me, looking back now, hindsight's 50-50, you realize, oh, you were finding comfort in food. And that was the thing that made you happy and made that horrible day a little bit better. You grow up in that era of, well, it was 80s, right? 80s, 90s. And it's like the no fat, low fat, so super bad and everything sugar is perfectly fine. And and snacking is super important. Man, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, the habits that, you picked up and then how bad it is to break. So, yeah, I've kind of struggled with it since then. I know that nutrition wasn't a huge topic or something we talked about because I saw my mom struggling with her weight as well. And then my grandmother, she was struggling, and it wasn't anything that we were ever looked down upon. But I know my mom was always making that conscious effort, like, oh, we'll always have a jug of water on the table instead of milk or juice and pop or whatever. And always had a salad. I kind of remember those little things. And I think it really helped in terms of maybe placing a base, a standard of what I should do. Both my parents worked. And I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. And my grandma, she always had the goods, man. She had the sugar cookies. She had the fake Newtons. We always did tea and cookies before bed. So, and tea always consisted of like 2 scoops of sugar. I don't know how I made it through childhood. I'm thinking about how much sugar I had. Oh, it's bad. And she always had the sugared cereal. Yes. Grandma's house, place to go. Life was good. Ask any 8, 9, 10-year-old. Life was good with that much sugar. Yeah. As a teen, I was always the chubby one. I mean, consider I started so early. So I was always the chubby one. And I tried losing weight. I ended up finding my only avenue was I joined biathlon when I was in my cadet corps. And that was fantastic. I totally fell in love with it. I mean, being able to be outside, cross country skiing, and the rifle shooting was good stress reliever. So it was a blast. It was great. I loved it. It, got my adrenaline going, and, really good skill to have. I mean, what woman shouldn't be able to shoot a rifle and, learn how to maneuver skis? But let me tell you, exercising was great on our training days because I'd just throw my track pants on and a big sweatshirt and my tube. And, I didn't care what I looked like. No one cares what you look like when you're training. When it comes to competition day and you're in that one-piece lycra spandex thing, oh, watch out, this chubby buddy does not look pretty. I wish I was in like a white spandex suit. I don't know. No, mine was two-tone blue, so I stood out in all of the white around me. Yeah, I hated it. Hated it. But such as teenage years, you just get through it because you have to. But it kind of helped me with my weight. I kind of did the 150s, 160s thing, graduated around that weight. And in my 20s, I got into, I worked in an oil rig camp, and we had a buffet that was always available to us. That was bad because it was 11 months of, working really hard, but then hitting the buffet. No one's there to watch me. I'm watching me. So I went like this from the 60s to 180s for 11 months, and it was bad. It was really bad. But when I left there, I went back to school and got a job working downtown in the city. And I got an apartment in the city downtown. And then rent was more important than food because I needed a view. I needed a beautiful view that my friends would be jealous with. But I also needed a roommate because I couldn't afford it. But then I couldn't afford food either, so whatever. Like, I could live off carbs. It was like toast and cereal. And I couldn't afford a parking space at my work, so I would walk to work, which wasn't bad. I mean, really, in hindsight, that's great. You should be walking to work. So that helped me come back down to the 60s. But yeah, I mean, your early 20s, you're going through this dating thing. Guys are looking for a thin chick, and you're like, "I've always been chubby. You're never gonna get a thin chick out of me. I don't know what to give you." So you try dumb things, right? You try. You get sucked into infomercials. So you get, you try the breathing yoga. Have you seen that?
Oh no! What breathing? No.
She's scary. She's very scary. The infomercial looks great because she's telling you how if you do these certain breathing exercises in these very dramatic ways, it's going to help oxygenate everything, and it's going to burn the fat extra, super quick, and your muscles are going to get toned with, holding these certain poses. Yeah. So what they don't show you are the other weird poses. And then when you get it in the mail and you watch and she does like this lion face thing, you're like, whoa, what did I just do? I gave that thing away to my roommate. I was like, here, you like yoga? No, so anyway, the dumb things you do because you're desperate, right? My mid-20s, I met my husband. He's much taller than me. He's 6'2", much skinnier than me. Drives me crazy. Military. Really drives me crazy. But I lost 10 pounds before our wedding. It was kind of a whirlwind romance. We met 2 months later, engaged, 1 year later, married. I made sure I lost the weight so I can get into my dress. That was super important. But that involved buying more infomercials. Yeah. Beachbody P90. Did that with protein shakes. Gag. I hate protein shakes.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But after we married, all of a sudden, it reverses, right? You get that happy wife comfort zone, and then all of a sudden you gain. Yeah, I did. So I gained 30 pounds, and around that same time, so it's about 180s, we got pregnant with our first baby, and this is so stupid, right? We're always like, I'm eating for two. Well, you're not, bitch. Let's be realistic here. I mean, you hear all the people go, don't ever eat for two. I am. So I'm sorry. But I went up. And my poor husband was, giving in to all my cravings and trying to be the good husband. Went up to about 235 by the time I delivered my baby. And he made me happy, but it was not, it was tough. It was rough. I think if I was in better shape, the delivery would have went better. He ended up being an unplanned cesarean. So there's just all these things that didn't help with the weight gain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took the next 4 years trying to figure out how to get it off.
Mm-hmm.
And we were living, at that time, we had moved to Vancouver Island. And that was interesting. It just started this big snowball effect of what I had access to and what I could do. So I ended up doing the Nutrisystem. I had a sister-in-law that got into it, and she's like, "Here, I have extras," and she would toss them my way. Yeah, I can understand the concept behind it. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gross. I don't know. Some people like it. Prepackaged food. It just reminded me of military IMPs, the individual meal pack. Oh, so it's the worst, especially when they're powdery.
Right.
That pack. Or they're like this big, and you're like this big hungry. Like, come on. It doesn't make any sense. Why do you do that to yourself? Because you're desperate.
Right.
So I bought Beachbody Turbo Jam, went back to Beachbody. I figured, oh, they helped me before my wedding. I should do this again. Got Turbo Jam. I bought a treadmill, bought a lot of exercise equipment, gadgets, and sucked into another infomercial. I'm a sucker. You know that thing, the one with the gadgets, the electric gadgets that you like, the pads that you put on your muscles, and then you press the machine, and it like zaps you. Yeah, so bad. So it's like you're going, no, this is supposed to burn away the fat. Well, it burns. It does. That's not a lie. But when you're like, oh, just do it for 15 minutes a day, by the time you go through, you're getting shocked like on your 10th shock, and you were tensing your muscles, hoping that it just will not be that bad. It makes it worse. Don't tense your muscles when it zaps you. It's like you just turn into this stiff board. Anyways, shut the machine off, return it. Not worth your life. Not worth it. Not worth it.
Right.
Okay, so bad gadget. Yeah, I've been down that road. Desperation.
Right.
I did the lemonade diet, which is more of a detox thing. I'm sure you've heard of that one.
No, I actually have not heard of the lemonade diet.
Oh, Lord Almighty. Okay, so that is just, it's like detox. It's liquids. Essentially, you're drinking a lot of cups of freshly squeezed lemons mixed with 100% maple syrup because it has all the minerals and nutrients and vitamins you may need. Oh, I know, right? And cayenne pepper to get your whole system going and revved up.
Oh,
and then detox. Well, the wicked part about that thing is, and you don't realize until you're too far gone, is every morning, you need to do a saline flush. You know what that is? That's a quart of water with a tablespoon of sea salt dissolved, and you suck it back as fast as you can.
Oh, gosh.
So many kinds of wrong with that thing.
Yes.
Anyway, so I did that and got tired of it. Went on, I did Weight Watchers, and that has its benefits, but counting everything just tired me out. And I did lose with it, but then, the monthly fees, and quite honestly, we were financially not in a position for me to be shelling out more money. I'm trying to raise a kid and trying to get us in a better financial situation. So that was annoying. So I decided I'll just do things on my own. I live on Vancouver Island. It's just like hippy dippy healthy central. I can do it. I became a vegetarian because there's so many restaurants that cater to that. Majority of your food store had sections for veggie and vegan. And then I wasn't doing as great on being a veggie as I wanted to. So I went vegan for a while. And that's when I got pregnant with my second baby. And about the 3rd month into that pregnancy, I knew it was a boy. because I was sitting in church and it just like hit me out of nowhere. Wendy's Big Bacon Classic. You need meat, you crazy vegan. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think I paid attention to the sermon after that? No, I was like, I gotta hit the drive-through as fast as I can. So that was the last day I was a vegan. After, yeah, with that baby, once again, I cranked myself back up to 235. It was almost identical to the first pregnancy. And after I had him, I'd heard about a girlfriend who did the Dukan diet. Have you heard that one?
What? The what?
The Dukan diet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's essentially being carnivore-ish, but in the morning, he kind of has this concoction that you have to eat with egg whites and almost like Metamucil. It's really nasty. Anyways, I lasted like a week and a half, and my body was like, "You need a salad, fool. What's wrong with you? Like, you cannot keep doing this."
Right.
What? Expensive. Honestly, like out of all the things in the grocery store, your meat is going to be one of the most expensive.
Yes.
Just like Weight Watchers, I couldn't afford keeping this sucker up. No. So that went out the window. But I somehow got myself back down to around 190-ish. I think it was just the combination of going back to Weight Watchers habits and stuff. And then when my baby was about 2.5, we moved here to Sicily. And at that time, I was around 190. And oh goodness me, my brain was like, "You're on vacation. You just moved to Italy. Oh, look at all this food you do not know how to pronounce. Come on, let's go." So yeah, I gained like 20 pounds easily. Easily. My first 10, 11 months. Because we came here and we helped set up the Canadian extension of the NATO branch here. And in doing that, now we're knowing all these people from all these different countries, and we're all working together, and everyone wants to party and everyone wants to try different restaurants. So guess what you're doing? You're doing that a lot. So I got up to about 210, 215 at that point.
And so that was the last time, like that's when you started losing this current time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now you're down into, do you mind sharing your weight or?
Well, this morning I'm 175.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And that's been, so it took you, how long has that been ago that you came to Italy and you started like, okay, I'm going to lose weight now? That was 2 years?
So Italy was summer of 2015, and I didn't make the decision until Canadian Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Of 2016.
Okay. All right. And so was there a particular thing that happened this last time where you're just like, I got to get this weight off, or was it just like a combination of just, I just need to lose?
Yeah, no, it was a thing, and it wasn't a pretty thing at all. In May of 2016, I woke up one morning, and this is at the time my husband was away. He was deployed somewhere. And I went to roll out of bed, and I went to stand up, and I hit the ground. And this shooting pain just retched up from my knee, up my leg, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought, well, what the heck did I? You can't twist your knee in your sleep. Like, that's some wicked nightmare. What the heck did I just do? So I tried standing up again, and it's not happening. My knee was like locked in a bent position, and any amount of pressure, I was almost crying. Once I got myself together and I mentally stopped crying, I could only crawl on my hands and knees through the house. And I was kind of panicking because at that time my baby was going to an Italian preschool, and I needed to be up to get him out the door to preschool. And I was homeschooling my big guy, and my husband was deployed. So I called up our other fellow Canadian that was sent here with us, and I'm like, "Hey, you by chance got a cane kicking around or a crutch or something? You know, trying to be all nonchalant. I got this." Stupid. And he goes, "Wait, what? For what?" And I'm like, "I just can't seem to walk on my leg." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Just stay there. I'm coming up to get you. We're going to the ER." So then I made phone calls to some of my U.S. military girlfriends that I had met through the preschool. And I'm like, "Someone just needs to come get my kids for a little while. I have to go to the hospital." Yeah. So after going there, that was the big turning point, because the flight surgeon that was on call had come in, and she started talking to me, and they'd given me, like, I don't know, some horse tranquilizer or something. It was lovely, because finally I could, like, put my foot on the ground and walk like a human being again. So I'm like, wow, why do I always say no to drugs? Anyways, they're actually kind of lovely when you need them. Let's just be honest. She is standing there telling me, "Okay, Mrs. Caouette, now, ma'am, I do not want to alarm you, and I do not want to offend you. And if you would like your husband to leave the room, I am my husband. But it doesn't matter, because he's my husband's boss. So you might as well tell both of us, because this is going to have to get written up and go to head office anyways. Because they need to know what's happening with the families, and essentially we're considered isolated post, because we're just here by ourselves. We don't have a head office here at disposal to us." So anyways, she's like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry, but you really, really need to lose weight and get the pressure off your joints." I'm like, duh. Like, I didn't want to be rude to her. I'm like, really? I'm just keeping all the sarcasm reined in, looking at her like, And what do you suggest? Because I've tried everything. She doesn't know about my electronic zappers.
Right.
No, but I tried everything. And she's like, "Well, I could get you hooked up with the nutritionist on base, and, you know, we'll see what she can do for you." Well, honestly, at that time, you know, she goes, puts the referral in. I felt like all of a sudden someone had sent me to the principal's office.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if I don't know how to eat, well, apparently I don't. But for all the things that I've done in my life up until now, I thought I had educated myself enough. But now I'm going to the principal, to the nutritionist office, and gotta figure out what's happening to me. So I went, and the nutritionist wanted me to do a whole gamut of blood work to see what the underlying problems were. Because with my second baby in my last 3 months, I was gestational diabetic. And going to the Canadian Diabetes Association and their, you know, that whole finger pricking pin. Oh my gosh. That just drives me crazy. When I was watching your interview there with Steve, I was like, holy mackerel. I did it for 2.5 months. I couldn't imagine doing it longer than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they kind of have that, oh, you're in here and if you just keep doing this, you will be diabetic. They don't tell you how this is going to change or what you should do. But once again, them, just like this now nutritionist I'm seeing on base, they can only tell you what they can tell you. They've been educated by the higher systems that have given them this degree. And all of this is so backwards and so wrong. So you're only going to have more and more sick people.
Right.
I saw her for about 3 months And now this once again was out of pocket. Yeah, our insurance covered it, but being overseas, medical insurance has just been a nightmare for us. So after she gave me like this calories Bible, I swear to God, it was as thick as the Webster's Dictionary. Actually, the Oxford Dictionary. Screw Webster. I mean, oops, sorry, not Webster. Oxford Dictionary. It was huge, and it had calories for everything. It had. Oh, I was American, so it had calories for restaurants I'd never even heard of before. So I was like, oh, that's nice. I don't even have access to those in Italy, so that's crazy. But anyways, she wanted me to just keep this journal. And I felt like, okay, here we are, Weight Watchers all over again. Counting everything, measuring everything. Such a headache. And honestly, in the 3 months I was with her, I think I lost 2 pounds. Mm-hmm. I followed everything she said. Yeah. And I lost 2 pounds. So that just drove me crazy. And when I decided to not continue seeing her, I remember the one thing she had said was when my blood work came back, all my levels were great. My blood pressure was great. Everything was totally fine. My cholesterol. I'm a relatively healthy person, except I was leaning really high on the levels of insulin resistance. Mm-hmm. So now I didn't really kind of know what that was. So when I stopped seeing her, I started Googling that. And that's when I came across Dr. Jason Fung and all of his teachings and all of his videos. And I was like, oh. So it took me a few months of research and figuring things out, because at that point I wasn't just battling the insulin resistance and the joint pain, but I had heartburn that I felt like I had gotten from my last baby and never got rid of, and just all these crazy things that were just slowly piling up. I'm like, okay, well, if insulin resistance has to do with this, then I need to get it under control. So I had a girlfriend here. I'd made a decision. This girlfriend of mine, she was a CrossFit trainer, and her husband. So she, U.S. military, she's like, let's go. I just love how chipper they are. Oh, yeah, okay. So I fell in love with CrossFit. Totally loved it. It was amazing. It was exactly what I wanted. But my heart was 100%, and my body kept giving out. So I'm like, how can I do 20,000 rounds of squats when I can't bend my knee? Drop your bum lower, she'd scream. I'm like, ah, I love you. Not gonna happen. Right. So anyways, I went from that. I did it for like the summer. Her and I did it on a weekly, regular basis. And I also really didn't care about my food either at that point. But also summer Italian barbecues and parties, and you gotta try every winery in your region. Anyways, kind of the rule when you live here. So desperate because of joint pain and heartburn and feeling gross in my own skin and how I felt in my clothes, I really decided to dive into IF, or intermittent fasting. And I got Dr. Fung's book, and I really studied that a lot. And, it's kind of a scary thing when you start. Yes. Because you have to retrain your brain. And between him and Dr. Berg, it was quite interesting to take both their advice. I credit a lot of it to both of them. I learned mostly, what insulin resistance was all about. I learned that it does help with, or not help, contributes to, shall I say, your joint pain and to bone degeneration, which I didn't say it previous. Squirrel moment. Sorry. Before we moved here, I had back pain, really bad back pain, and we got an MRI and found out that I have spina bifida, but like the lower form of, it's the lower form of it, not the full-on crazy blown out disease. But apparently 30% of the population has it, and a lot don't know it. Wow. I'm one of that percentage. But the scans and everything came back that my C4, C5 was, I looked like a 70-year-old woman. Like already my body was double in degeneration. And it explained a lot of the nerve pain I'd been dealing with and a lot of just everything, all the problems I had had. It was like all these lights went off. So loved CrossFit, but there was things that my back was not going to let me do. And when I read and learned that insulin resistance helps to go against that, I was like, man, I really got to cut out sugar. Like, this is insane. I live in Italy. I got pasta and pizza coming out of the zoo. It's just insane. I mean, you will never starve here. I'm telling you.
Right.
Everywhere you turn, there's a pizzeria, cafe full of sugar. Gorgeous, but so deadly for those with no self-control. Yes, I know. I'll add that in there. But so I have lived with chronic pain for the past 20 years, and I needed something. Even though I'd killed myself on all these workout routines, I needed something that I could just. I knew always in my head that it's in the kitchen. You know, like you keep hearing that phrase, your six-pack abs are in the kitchen. Whatever. If I could just throw out a couple French rolls here, I'd be happy. Never mind six-pack abs. Both my babies were C-sections, and I thought that the spinal freezes had attributed to my chronic pain, as they were just not fun moments in my life. But yeah. Backing all the way back up, the turning point was me 2016 when my knee gave out on me and I knew I had to change my life, like completely, because that is probably every military wife's worst nightmare is something happening and he's not there.
Right.
So I'm glad I had enough of a support system to help me through that.
So do you think that you've had any mindset shifts this go around? Like when you compare how you in the past approached weight loss and then now how are you approaching it, is there a difference in your mindset?
Yeah, this time I had to get real with myself. I had to stop thinking I was invincible and that one day I will buy the magic pill because they will invent it. No, I just had to get real. You know, you have to do the things that nobody wants to do. And essentially you have to grow up. You can't always just give in to your cravings. You can't always just give in to your mental temper tantrums, which I didn't realize I had a lot of. And as much as I didn't think I was an emotional eater, because I thought that was for unstable people, I found out I was an emotional eater. I mean, that was right on par with what you just posted today or yesterday or whatever that was. I'm like, you're singing my tune, girl. So bad.
Well, so this time it sounds like you really are being realistic. Is there anything that you still really struggle with or that this just a challenge?
Yes. I daily struggle with getting to supper. It's you can only have so much coffee before you're like climbing the walls and you don't know what to do with yourself. You're like, coffee will just keep pushing it. Well, you better stop after the third espresso or you ain't gonna sleep tonight. Sheesh. And I can't have anything past 3 o'clock or I will not sleep. That's just my deal. So, and the last 3 to 4 hours right before supper, that's always a killer. So what I do try to do with that though is that's the time of the day that I usually try to get my steps in and get it done. And yeah, as long as that can fill that space or even just get out of the house, because goodness me, like if I'm around stuff, not cool. I mean, I have a loving husband and he supported every single thing I've done. He's he's actually, been my sponsor in almost everything because he was the paycheck. So he bought all that crazy stuff for me, as you could say. He had faith. I was a fool. But yeah, he's like, as long as you don't make me do it. This is all his. You want to do that? You go ahead. Just don't make me eat that brick of tofu or whatever.
Right.
Okay, fine. I won't. But I always just hate looking at him and going, how come he's still so skinny? We got here though, and he enjoyed moving to Italy and eating like an idiot too. So he's like, I've just embraced the dad bod. Yeah. Like, oh, come on. You're gonna like go join the soccer team and lose it in like 3 weeks. Big deal. There was no dad. You don't dad bod. Anyways, yeah, so the last 3 to 4 hours before supper is a tough one. Overeating. I still, because you're so stinking hungry, you don't slow down to enjoy. You're just like, inhale.
Right.
Don't inhale soup though, that's really hard. But it's just, and then not making it balanced. I guess that you try so hard to make it a balanced meal, and half the time that's a tough one sometimes. But and last but not least, sleep. I know that once I get onto more of the OMAD rule, I have issues sleeping. But that, luckily, I have found links that Dr. Berg has talked about with lack of sleep and OMAD. So he's been a huge help in that, because I started buying the vitamins or minerals or whatever he prescribes that you lack. And as long as I can keep that going with my OMAD, then I can actually fall asleep better, and I can actually last my night. And otherwise, I'm up at 2, and then I'm up for 2-3 hours, and I don't know what to do with myself.
Right.
Irritating. So yeah, those are the things I'm still working on.
So what is a piece of advice you would give someone else who's out there on their weight loss journey? What would you tell them?
Be real with yourself, but give yourself grace. Because you're gonna screw up, girlfriend. I'm sorry. It's just gonna happen. We all do it. It's life. But enjoy it. I made these little mottos that kind of help push me along sometimes. It's like try to make it to 6 o'clock, I'd be like, slim and sexy by 6. I just try to push myself that way. Just keep going. Or the kids, the food on the plates, oh my Lord. Okay, that had to be broken by, do I put it in the waist or does it go on my waist? And you should put it in the waist.
Right.
Because I don't think I need that extra 5-6 bites of Nutella toast. Even though Nutella is pretty awesome over here. Anyway. Yeah, that's my advice. It's just like, don't give up, give yourself grace, but also be real. So you're not invincible. And if you can't look yourself in the face, it's just going to get worse. So keep moving, keep going, don't stop.
Very good. What about, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you really wish I would have?
Yeah, you didn't ask any of us how we were led to you.
Oh, well, how did you find me?
Oh, it's gonna be one of those responses that is a little TMI, but I've seen some of your videos and you got a lot of TMI. So guess what? I'm gonna join in on that. I found you by trying to figure out, could a woman do OMAD on her period? Oh yeah, you and your Snickers bar. I was like, that's brilliant. Okay, I gotta make sure I got my stash of Snickers on my period. I can still do OMAD. What? Kayla said so.
That's right.
You did. So that was a huge help. But just watching your videos and then seeing your personality, the fact that you're super real and down to earth, I think was a huge help. And the simplicity of just walking. Like I knew I needed to cut back on food, but I wasn't sure what I was gonna ump it up, help it out with in terms of exercise. And I was like, well, I can walk. I mean, on most days I have to be careful how I stand up from a chair or how fast I walk or what I bend down and pick up because I still have those back issues. But I can still walk. So good God Almighty, I never challenged myself to 14,000 steps, but you kind of pushed me in that direction, and I completely and totally appreciate it because I didn't realize that a sedentary person is like 2,000 to 3,000 steps. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm only at 5,000? How is she? Okay, looks like I'm going to be walking around my house in circles, which I do. I turn on movies or Netflix, or I listen to one of the YouTube videos, and I walk back and forth between my kitchen and my living room. Because sometimes you are tied down. You can't just go outside for a walk, and you got kids that do not walk the same pace. And when you homeschool, they do not walk the same pace.
Right.
Mom, do I have to? Well, you're 5, and I can't put you in a stroller no more, so yes. But then what takes you 2 hours takes you 6, and that's just not fun for anyone.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
So you watch a movie and tell them to go away.
Right.
And you step in your space. So yes, that you never asked anyone how they were led to you, but I thank God for finding I ate my Snickers on my period video.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tammy, for sharing your story. You got an awesome one. And if people would like to connect with you, is there any way they can do that?
Yeah. They can, if it's a personal deal, absolutely, through my Hotmail email, which I'll give to you. You can probably link to this, or I'm in your OMAD Facebook group.
Okay.
And I don't have my own channel, so no one can go find me there. Sorry. Like,
you should maybe start
Steve for having his own channel, because that's awesome. I was listening to those last two, and I was like, maybe I can start a channel. I would squirrel all over the place. It would make no sense. And was it Michael who did the stairs?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what I thought? I was like, dude, I like Kung Fu Panda. So my nemesis. Especially with joint pain, like I can't just go. That was a huge driving factor for me too. Is like I would go out with my husband at night, finally get a babysitter. We're gonna go try this fantastically gorgeous recommended restaurant downtown. And well, Italians don't believe in escalators, so there's stairs everywhere.
Right.
And half of them are thousands of years old, so they're really not replacing them. But I'm like leaning on my husband, going down the stairs, feeling like I'm some 80-year-old woman. Right. And I'm like, wow, I'm only 30. I just turned 38. So it's like, this is so not cool.
Right. Yeah.
He's the stud with the dud on his arm. Like, what's going on? This is not good. I should be the trophy wife, not the thing he drags along. It's just. So yeah. Anyways, I mean, I have 40 more to go, and I don't know if you will probably see that now that I'm a little more geared. Like I said, I thank you for your videos and everything, because you did get me out of my mental funk. I did do a good drop, but then I was stuck. I was just stuck. I just plateaued for super long. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I loved your approach of no guilt, because everything else was guilt. I did the keto thing, and it worked for a little bit. And then it felt like Weight Watchers, where I was counting and calculating. And to be honest, living in Italy, I didn't have access to a lot of the things asked for or required. Like, almond flour. You go up to an Italian and you ask them, where's your almond flour? They will kick you out of the store. They will shame you in the town square. I'm telling you, it's just like, what is this? No. So, and our situation here for me ordering things online, it's Italian bureaucracy is just something else. But I had to live life, and I was like, well, when you said that carbs are cheap, I was like, carbs are cheap. Carbs are Italian, and my background of Russian, French, and Irish, there's potatoes in my DNA. I can't just run away from this.
Right.
You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to be real, and I have to learn how to live with food, and you've got to go backwards. You know, maybe that trip to the principal's office wasn't too bad.
So thank you so much, Tammy, for
Cheers.
being here and sharing your story. It was awesome. Thank you.